She thought dumping her broke boyfriend would level up her life. But she didn't know the truth he was hiding would haunt her forever. Stay till the end.
Logan, I'm done. I can't keep dating a man who can't even pay for lunch.
Emily, can we at least talk about this?
There's nothing to talk about. I'm not wasting my 20s on someone with no future.
The small downtown cafe went silent as Emily pushed her chair back and stood up, arms crossed, chin lifted like she couldn't believe she'd ever settled for someone like Logan. He stayed seated, staring at the table, the half-eaten sandwich he'd been stretching to save money, and the girl he loved walking away without a single backward glance. Outside the window, the city moved on, but his world had just collapsed. Logan sat there long after she left. The waitress pretended not to notice the heartbreak sitting at table 7. His throat felt tight, but he kept swallowing it down. He wasn't going to cry in public. Not today. He reached into his pocket, pulling out a wrinkled envelope he'd been meaning to show her. Not a ring, something bigger, but now the moment was ruined. He tucked it back in his jacket and stood up slowly, like every muscle had to relearn how to move without her. Outside, Emily was already in another man's car, a sleek black Mercedes that didn't belong anywhere near Logan's world. She leaned into the window, laughing at something the guy said. Logan watched her drive away until the car turned the corner and disappeared. He walked home alone. The apartment was silent, it always was. Just a single worn couch, a tiny kitchen, and a bedroom barely big enough for a bed. But it was his. He'd worked 2 jobs to keep it. He'd worked 3 to take care of someone else. He sat on the edge of the bed and finally opened the envelope. Inside was a letter. "Congratulations, Logan Taylor. Your patent has been approved." At the bottom, "Your invention qualifies for funding review. Total potential grant, $750,000. He closed his eyes. He had planned to show Emily. He had planned to ask her to believe in him just a little longer. He had planned a future where they built everything together. She never gave him the chance. He folded the letter and placed it carefully in the drawer beside his bed. Then he whispered to no one, "I guess this is just how it has to be." Days turned to weeks. Logan stayed quiet. He went to work at the hardware store in the mornings, met with patent advisors in the evenings, and came home exhausted but determined. Every hour he spent working felt like a brick in a foundation Emily never believed he could build. And Emily? Her new life sparkled. The man in the Mercedes, Chase, took her to rooftop restaurants, designer stores, resorts she'd only seen on Instagram. She bragged to her friends that she'd finally upgraded. Whenever Logan crossed her mind, she shoved the thought away, or tried to. But one night, sitting in Chase's penthouse, she overheard him on the phone. "Yeah, she's cute enough," he said casually. "But you know how it is. I'm not keeping her long. She doesn't bring anything to the table." Emily froze. He walked out of the room still talking, still laughing, something twisted in her stomach. After he left, she stared at her reflection in the window. Designer dress, expensive earrings, but her eyes looked hollow. She tried to sleep but couldn't. She reached for her phone. Her finger hovered over Logan's contact. She didn't press it. 2 months passed! Then the story broke. Local inventor receives $750,000 grant for life-changing device. There, on the front page of the business section, was Logan's face. Clean haircut, new suit, a quiet, proud smile. Emily dropped her coffee. "No way," she whispered. But it was him. Her phone buzzed with group chat messages. "Didn't you date him?" "Girl, you messed up big time." "He's on the news." Emily sat on the couch, shocked into silence. Logan, her Logan, was suddenly one of the most talked-about young inventors in the state. His design was being licensed by a major tech company. Investors were calling him nonstop. And she had walked away because he couldn't pay for lunch. Later that night, Emily showed the article to Chase. He shrugged. "So your ex got lucky. Congrats to him." She frowned. "Lucky? He worked for years." Chase cut her off, bored. "Why are you even thinking about him?" "Because," she hesitated, "he was good to me." "And broke," Chase added. "Don't get nostalgic." He walked out of the room, leaving her staring at the article again. Something inside her cracked. She remembered Logan fixing her car in the middle of winter, Logan giving her his jacket when she forgot hers, Logan walking miles so she could take the Uber home, Logan working shifts he hated just to buy her birthday gifts, Logan apologizing for being poor when he shouldn't have had to. What had she done? The next morning, she showed up at his apartment. Her heart pounded as she knocked softly. The door opened. Logan stood there, freshly shaved, clean shirt, looking like someone who'd finally stepped into his own life. He blinked in surprise. "Emily?" "Hi," she whispered. "Can we talk?" He didn't move. "Why?" she swallowed. "Because I owe you an apology." He stepped aside just enough for her to enter. She walked in slowly, looking around. The apartment had changed. New desk, new equipment, a wall covered in business plans and patent certificates. Logan wasn't poor anymore. He wasn't small. He wasn't the guy she dismissed. He was someone she should have believed in. She turned to him, her voice shaking. "I'm sorry I didn't support you. I was selfish. I was wrong, and I just wanted you to know that." He nodded slowly. "Thanks for saying that." She took a breath. "Logan, do you think maybe we could—" "No," he said gently. Emily froze. "He wasn't cruel, he wasn't angry, he was just done." "You left when life wasn't shiny," he said quietly. "And I don't blame you. But I can't forget it." She stepped closer. "But people make mistakes." "And I learned from mine," he finished. "I loved someone who only saw what I didn't have. I won't do that again." Her eyes filled. "I miss you." "I know," he said, "but missing me now doesn't mean you loved me then." Emily broke. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "I didn't know you were going to become—" He shook his head. "Emily, I would have settled for someone who believed in me when I had nothing." Silence filled the room. She wiped her tears and managed a tiny broken smile. I hope you find someone who deserves you." "I already did," he said. Her heart twisted. "Who?" He hesitated, then stepped aside. A woman appeared from the hallway, kind smile, warm eyes, holding blueprints in her hands. His business partner, his girlfriend, someone who believed in him long before the press did. Emily's last piece of hope shattered, but she didn't fight it. She nodded. "Take care of yourself, Logan." "You too," he said softly. She walked out of the apartment, closing the door behind her. Outside, the city moved like always, indifferent, bright, loud. But inside her chest, something heavy settled. Regret, the kind that doesn't fade. What would you do if the person you left became everything you once prayed for? And do you think Emily deserved a second chance? Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories.